Next, we will vote before we discuss and vote on the eligibility of non-Rhode Island residents for judicial vacancies. But before we do so, I will entertain, if there's one, a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5A1 to discuss applicants. And I will note, assuming there is a motion, that all applicants were provided prior written notice on July 9th that their, or all candidates, I should say, that their candidacy would be discussed, and they could require that any discussion be held in open session, and no requests were received. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will go into executive session, and for members of the public who are here, we will go in, but we will come out of executive session, and then we will take a public vote, which will be announced, and then we will have our discussion about the eligibility of non-Rhode Island residents in open session. Okay, we're back in open session. So the JNC is now going to vote on, before we do that, sorry. Is there a motion to seal the minutes of the executive session? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes of the executive session are sealed. Thank you, LJ. And also, we obviously have adjourned back into open session. Now we're going to vote, and just for anyone who doesn't know, we have voting sheets that list all the commissioners and all the candidates. Each commissioner has between 3 and 5 votes. You have to use at least 3 votes. You can have no more than 5. You can't vote for one person more than once. So now we will vote. I will tally them, and once I have what I think is a tally, I will ask 2 other commissioners to just check my work and make sure that it's correct, and then assuming that we have a final number, we will announce it to everyone and then move on to our next agenda item. So with that, if everyone wants to vote, and please just pass in your voting sheets when you are done. And Karen, if you can hear me, I did receive your voting sheet, but I haven't received the updated sheet. If you can resend it, please.
She has us muted again, Krista.
Sorry.
She has us muted again.
Can she hear us?
Karen, can you hear me?
She muted us, I can see the.
Oh, so she can't even hear us. Can you send her a message, please?
order.
Yeah, I'm not saying go.
I'm making breakfast for my son. Yes. He just sits at the table waiting for this. Has no idea he's doing.
Yep. Okay. We're good.
Okay, we have, after the first round of voting, a list of 5 names that will be sent to Governor McKee, and I'll read them aloud, sorry. I'm just gonna go in alphabetical order. Rebecca Aitchison with 5 votes, Maria Deeden with 6 votes, Anthony DeBiase with 5 votes, Robert Johnson IV with 6 votes, and Michael McCaffrey with 6 votes. And our minutes or a draft of our minutes, I should say, and a copy of the voting sheet is uploaded to the Secretary of State, correct? It's usually
Open meetings. Open government.
tomorrow.
I'll try to get it tonight.
But it will be posted. And with that, we will move on to the last item of business on our agenda, and that is to discuss and potentially vote on the eligibility of non-Rhode Island residents for consideration for judicial vacancies. And before we have our discussion, I will just note that while there is potentially a differing, I guess, interpretation of the statute about whether you have to be a Rhode Island resident to be considered by the JNC. It has typically been the case that people need to be Rhode Island residents in order to be considered, but even if someone is not a resident, their application materials are typically passed on to the full commission for consideration, but just in the interest of fairness and thinking this through moving forward, I wanted to put it out there whether moving forward the JNC should decline to accept any applications from someone who is not a Rhode Island resident. It is a question on our application form right now whether you are a Rhode Island resident. So I guess I would propose that if that's something that we're going to do, that we would just amend our materials and probably our memo to applicants to make clear that if you're not a Rhode Island resident, we will not consider your application materials. So we won't take them in and manage them through the process. So with that, I will open it up if anyone would like to say anything on that point.
I will. I think regardless of the interpretation, I agree that it's been status quo that Rhode Island residents, it's been interpreted that Rhode Island residents, non-Rhode Island residents are not eligible. So I think that it should be clear and we should not accept those applications. So that if anyone has a challenge to the interpretation, then they can challenge it. I think
I
right
agree.
now, there's no ability for an applicant to be heard on the question, if they so choose. So I think, I don't want to, yeah. So that's my 2 cents on that. So I'd be all for saying you're not a Rhode Island resident, we have to reject your application. And then they don't go through the whole thing too. It's a lot to go through that application process, so. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Gina.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I agree.
Anyone else?
Well, I tend to agree with you. We're gonna bring it to a head at one place or another. It's either gonna come to a head when we just let somebody go through and someone else files it after the fact, when it's on its way to the governor, or let them know now you can't do it, and let someone challenge it.
Yeah, if someone wants it badly enough,
And you got a
then they can
constitutional
challenge it.
challenge,
Exactly.
you got a statutory challenge, you got the challenge of the way the application is drafted. So let someone challenge it if they're going to. And if we're wrong, we're wrong.
Right, I agree.
Anyone else? there a motion? I can set up the motion. So I guess the motion would be that moving forward, the JNC will not accept applications from non-Rhode Island residents for consideration. So I think that covers it. So is there a motion? Thanks, Tom.
Second, did you move it? So, I'm second.
So you're second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
It's unanimous.
Unanimous, okay. With that, there is no further business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Okay.